In this video I'm going to show you how to use a pivot table to group some continuous data. It does something slightly different, but for this example I'm using the national minimum wage survey data again in Excel, and I've created the pivot table just as before. This time I'm going to look at the question 1 here, which is how much do you think the current national minimum wage rates are for the following groups of people 21s and over. There's lots of other questions like this, but let's just focus on this one as our example. If I tick this, it puts it into the rows thing, and it's given me lots of rows, and these are the answers that people typed in for how much they think the national minimum wage is per hour. And we're ranging from £3.20 all the way up to, I don't know, was it £10? Yeah. So there's a lot of range of answers. It has put it into rows. It's not predictable always where Excel is going to put this when you tick it, so be prepared to drag it to the right place. I would like it to do some counting of how many answers were for each type, but sort of like get the voting sort of range on this. So I'm going to put this into values as well, and this time it does count it. If it wasn't counting stuff, I would tell that by changing the field settings. But this is still pretty unhelpful. One person has said that it was £3.20, one person said it was £3.80. You can see there's lots of one response answers here, which is a good indication that we should group this, but notice that these numbers are now continuous. They could have typed in anything in here. There's a few things to look out for. We've got a sudden jump. £6, a lot of people thought 6 was a nice round number, clearly. 46 people thought that was the national minimum wage, and it jumps £6.31. That's distressingly precise. There's a very odd answer, £6.31 and 4/10 of a pence. I'm not sure what that, maybe that's a typo. But you can see the sort of data coming in here. It clearly would be easier to digest if we could group this. Now you know how to group stuff, but something slightly annoying happens when you do try and group this. So let's have a quick look. Clicking on one of the row labels, I'm going to click on group field, and it's suggesting we should start at 3.2 and go up to 10. That's probably about right. Going up in ones is probably about right as well, just to get an initial sort of rough distribution, but I think we should probably start at 3 to get a nice round number and go up in ones from that. So let's click OK and group this data. And it's gone for less than 3 or blank. It created that category all by itself because there are quite a lot of blanks in this data. That's where people said they didn't know. And then it's gone 3 to 4, there's 2 of them, 4 to 5, there's 4 of them, and this is nicely grouped, except for one thing which I hope you're upset about while watching this, is that it says 3 to 4 and then it says 4 to 5. So where has it put guesses of exactly £4, or where has it put guesses of exactly £5? Is it in that group or that group? And it's not obvious from the way Excel has listed this, so we're going to have to ungroup again and just go and check. Let's have a look. There's definitely 3 responses of £5 exactly, so they'll get put somewhere. Let's look at the £4 something. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one of those has 1 response. So I think there are 4 responses in the £4 something. And if when I group them it does say 4, then we'll know that the 5s are being put into the next category. Let's check. So clicking on that, group field, do the same thing. Let's change that to 3. Click OK. And there are 4 responses in the 4 to 5 category, so the actual guesses at £5 exactly are getting put into the 5 to 6. Now, that might have been obvious with this less than 3 business as well. It looks like it's using a less than at the top of the ranges, but it hasn't told me that, and I think that's bad. As long as if you encounter this sort of problem, you have a way of checking what it's doing, and whenever you're writing this stuff up, you can then make a comment that that's what these groups mean. So there we go. We've got a grouped data set now. We could shrink this. It's a little bit easier to see. It still puts the question at the top, but you can see that most people by a long way are guessing that the national minimum wage for 21s and over is between £6 and £7, and we could graph this in the same way as you've seen on other slides. In the final video on pivot charts, I'm going to show you how to turn this grouped frequency table into something we can use to estimate the mean.